Hello everyone, welcome to the channel, and today I will show you how to perform a land use land cover change detection analysis over a time period from 2001 to 2021 using Landsat 8 image and Landsat 4.5 thematic mapper in ArcGIS. So let's get started. Now let me explain about Landsat 8 image. So it consists of 11 different bands, 8 bands of 30-meter resolution and 1 band of panchromatic image with 50-meter resolution and 2 bands of thermal infrared band of 100-meter resolution. And Landsat 8 image is available from 2013 onwards in USGS. This is the official site. We can download the satellite image for Landsat 8. So link will be given in the description to how to download a satellite image from USGS. So similarly, the Landsat 4.5 thematic mapper, so it consists of 7 bands and 6 bands of 30-meter resolution and 1 band of 100-meter resolution. That is of thermal infrared band. The band 6 is of thermal infrared band. So this is a thematic mapper, Landsat 4.5. So we have 7 bands and 6 bands of 30-meter resolution and 1 band of 100-meter resolution. That is a thermal infrared band. And link will be given in description to how to download a satellite image from USGS. So now we have two different layers. So one layer is of Landsat 8 image of 2021 data and second layer is of Landsat 4.5 thematic mapper of 2001. So for both the layers we have performed supervised image classification technique. We have around 7 different classes starting from dense vegetation to floodplain, and similarly for Landsat 4.5 thematic mapper we perform supervised classification from dense vegetation. We have 7 classes from dense vegetation to floodplain. And how to perform the supervised classification, the link will be given in the description. So now let's get started preparing our land use land cover change detection analysis over a time period from 2001 to 2021. So first let's get to this layer called Landsat 8 image 2021. Right click, open attribute. So now we have 4 different fields. Let me delete this field. So now let me add a field. So go to this option, add field. Let me enter as LULC 2021. So now I have entered the name as LULC 2021. Select the data type as text. Now click OK. And similarly add another field. Go to this option and add field. Now enter the name as value 1. Now choose the data type as short integer. Now click OK. So now let me add the name of each of this class. The value 1 here represents dense vegetation and value 3 here, that is 299, here represents the buildup, and similarly 538 represents the floodplain. So now let me enter the name. So to enter the name, go to the editor. So to enter the name, go to the editor section, click editor, start editing. So now let me enter as dense vegetation. So now I have entered as dense vegetation for this layer, Landsat 8 image of 2021. And similarly, I will enter the other name for other classes too. So now I have entered the LULC classes from dense vegetation to floodplain according to our layer, Landsat 8 image of 2021. So now let me enter the value as 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now let me enter. So now I have entered the value 1 as 1 to 7. So each of this 1 represents dense vegetation and 3 represents the water body, 4 represents buildup and 7 represents floodplain. So now let me save this edits. Go to the editor, save edits and stop edits. So now let me close this. Go to this Landsat 4.5 thematic image. Landsat 4.5 thematic image of 2001. Right click, open attribute. Now let me delete this field. Delete this. So now let me go to the add two fields. Go to this option called table options. Click this and add field. Let me name LULC 2001. So now let me select the data type as short text. Let me select the data type as text. Now click OK. And similarly go to the table option again and add table, add field. and enter the name as value 1. Now choose your data type as short integer. Now click OK. And similarly, let us name this each of this value represents this sets of value. So let me enter the name for it. So to enter the name, go to this editor section, click editing, start editing. So now let me enter the name. So now I have entered the name of the LULC classes. For each of this value represents dense vegetation, and this value represents build up, and this value represents floodplain. So now let me enter the value for. So now I have entered the value according to its class. So value 1 here represents dense vegetation, value 2 represents vegetation, 3 represents water body, 5 represents barren land, and 4 represents build up. So you can see in this order we have water body, barren, and build up. So in this order we have water body, build up, and barren. So for that, in that case, I have given the number as 5 and 4. So 4 represents build up and 5 represents barren land. So now let me save this edits. Go to the editor section, save edits, and stop edit. Now let me close this. So now let us perform our LULC, that is land use land cover change detection analysis. Now let me start with this with the Landsat 8 image. So now go to the Arc Toolbox section. Now go to the conversion tools. From conversion tools, go to the from raster. Now click raster to polygon. So we're going to convert our raster data to a polygon data to calculate our land use land cover change detection. So now let me input my raster of data, that is Landsat 8 image of 2021. So now let me enter the field value as value 1. So now let me choose the output file location. So I have chosen my output file location. Now click OK. So now we have our raster to polygon is converted to a polygon for Landsat 8 image of 2021. So now let me open right click, select this layer, right click, open attributes. So now we can able to see we have our grid codes. So each of this grid code represents our LULC classes. So 1 here represents dense vegetation, and 4 represents our build-up, and 6 represents our floodplain. So yes, it is a fallow land. 6 represents fallow, and 7 represents our floodplain. So now let me dissolve this grid code together. So for that, let me close this. Go to the option called geoprocessing, select dissolve. So now let me input my feature, that is raster to polygon 2021 data. So now let me choose the output file location, and we're going to dissolve our grid code. Select this. Now let me choose the output file location. So now I have chosen my output file location and entered at dissolve 2021. Now let me click OK. So now we have our dissolve layer. Now let me right click, open attributes. So now you can able to see we have dissolved our grid code value together. So each of this number represents our LULC classes of 2021 Landsat 8 image. 1 represents dense vegetation, and up to 7 represents our floodplain. So now let me add the two fields. Go to the table option and choose add field. Now let me add a field called LULC 2021. Now select the data type as text. Now click OK. So now let me add another field called add field. Let me name as area 2021. So I have entered the name as area 2021 and select the data type as short integer. Now click OK. So now let me add our LULC class name. So 1 represents dense vegetation, and 4 represents our build-up, 7 represents floodplain. Now let me enter the name. So to enter the name, go to the editor option, start editing. So now let's enter the name. So we are editing our dissolve 2021. Let me enter dense vegetation. So I have entered dense vegetation. Similar, I will add other classes too, the name of the other classes too. So now I entered the class name of this LULC 2021 classes from dense vegetation to floodplain. So now let me calculate the area. Right click, go to the option called calculate geometry. Now let me select the property as area. Now let me choose the unit as square kilometers. You can choose according to your wish. You can choose hectares or feet is according to wish. In my study, I will choose square kilometers. So now let me click OK. So this is our area for dense vegetation was around 915 square kilometers and buildup was around 1597 square kilometers. So now let me save this, go to the editor section, save edits and stop editing. So now let me close this. So now we're going to perform the similar procedure for our Landsat 45 thematic mapper 2021 data. So let me again go to the Arc toolbox section and from conversion tools choose from rasters to raster to polygon. So now let me input my raster Landsat 45 thematic image of 2001. Choose the field as value 1 and choose the output location. So now I've chosen the output location and make sure that you select the field value 1. So now let me click OK. So now we have our raster to polygon of 2021 layer. Now let me right click raster to polygon 2021 layer, data, open attributes. So we have our grid codes representing each of our LULC classes. So the 5 here represents our barren land and 4 represents the buildup, 6 represents fallow land and 7 represents the floodplain. Now let me close this. So to dissolve a grid code, go to the option called geoprocessing, choose dissolve. So now let me input my features, that is raster to polygon 2001. So let me choose my output location and we're going to dissolve our grid code values together. So let me choose my output location. So now I have chosen my output location. Now let me click OK. So now we have our dissolve 2001 layer. So now let me right click our dissolve 2001 layer, open attributes. So now we have our grid codes dissolved together. So each of this value represents our LULC. So 1 represents dense vegetation, 4 represents buildup, and 5 represents barren, and 7 represents floodplain. So now go to the table options, add field, LULC 2001. Now select the data type as text. Now click OK. And similarly go to the table option, add field. Now let me enter the name as area 2021. Now let me select the data type as short integer. Now click OK. So now to enter our Landuse land cover class's name, go to the editor, start editing. Now let me enter the name for LULC 2001. So let us start with dense vegetation. So now I have entered dense vegetation. Similarly, I will enter other classes too. So now I have entered the name for LULC class 2001 dense vegetation to floodplain. Now let me calculate the area of, so this is 2001. I've let me delete this. Editor, save edits. So go to editor, stop editing. Now let me remove this field. So I mistakenly entered 2021. Let me delete this. So go to the table option, add field, enter as area 2001. So now let me select the data type as double. Now click OK. So now let us calculate the area of LELC 2001. Right click this field, go to the option called calculate geometry. Now yes. So now let me choose a property as area and units as square kilometers. Now click OK. Yes. So we have our area 2001 of LELC 2001. So dense vegetation was around 57.70 square kilometers and buildup was around 1859 square kilometers and floodplain was around 38 square kilometers. So now let me again go to the editor section. So okay. So now let me close this. So similarly, let me go back to the dissolve layer of 2001. We have done the dissolve for 2001. Now let me get back to dissolve 2021. Right click, open attributes. So I have selected here as short integer. Let me select as double. So let me right click, delete this field. So table option, add field. Let me enter as area 2021. So now make sure that you select the data type as double. So now click OK. So now to calculate this area, right click, go to the option called calculate geometry. Now yes, go to the area, square kilometers, units as square kilometers. Now click OK. So now we have our area for this layer, 2021 layer. So now we have calculated the area for 2001, that is Landsat 45 thematic mapper, as well as the area for 2021 Landsat 8 image of 2021. So now let us proceed towards calculating our land use land cover change detection from 2001 to 2021. So for that process, go to the option called geoprocessing and select intersect. Now let me input features. Now let me select dissolve 2001 and again select dissolve 2021. So now we have selected our dissolve 2001 and 2021 layer. Now let me choose the output location. So now I have entered the name as intersect vector. Now let me click OK. So now we have our intersect vector. So we have intersected our dissolve layer of 2001 and 2021 to calculate our land use land cover change detection from 2001 to 2021. So now go to this layer intersect vector, right click, open attributes. So now you can clearly able to view the LULC of 2001 area as well as LULC of 2021 and its area. And we have our respective grid codes for LULC 2001 grid code and LULC 2000 grid code for LULC 2021 grid code. So now let us calculate our change detection using by adding a fields. Go to this option of table option, add field. Now let me enter the name as change detection. So now I have entered the name as change detection. Let me enter the data type as text. Now click OK. So yes, so we have a change detection field and let us add another field called area change. So now I have entered the name as area change. Let me select the data type as double. Now click OK. So yes, so we have our two layers. One layer is change detection layer and other is of area change layer. The amount of changes as observed from 2001 to 2021. So now let me calculate the change detection. Right click, go to the option called field calculator. Yes. So now let me select LULC 2001, double click, and similarly select the LULC 2021, double click. So now in between, let me add plus, minus and plus. So between minus sign, let me enter the double quotes. So I have entered the minus sign with double quotes with a space between them and also space between this layer and plus sign. And let me click OK. So it is calculating our records. So now we have our change detection layer. So now let me calculate the amount of change using go to this field called area change. Right click, go to the option called calculate geometry. Yes. And choose your property as area and units as you wish. You can choose hectare or square kilometers. I will choose as square kilometers. Now click OK. Yes. So now we have our area change. So this is a change detection analysis. This is 2001 and this is 2021. So to view the land use land cover change pattern from 2001 to 2021, it is clearly given here. So there is a conversion from dense vegetation to vegetation, that is around 13 square kilometers, and from dense vegetation to build up is around 0.5 square kilometers, and similarly vegetation to build up is around 425 square kilometers. So for that we have and build up is around 191 square kilometers. So for the all different LULC pattern from 2001 to 2021, the changes has been given here. And what are the change? So from vegetation to vegetation, vegetation to water body, and vegetation to a barren or a water body to a buildup. So all the change detection has been clearly given here. So now let us plot this data in Excel. Now let me select all this data together. So let me copy this. Go to this here and right click and copy selected. Now open your Excel. So now let me paste my values. Control V. So let me arrange this. So now let me remove all of the fields except FID. Let me remove till here. So now let me arrange this. I will enter as change detection analysis from 2001 to 2021. So I have selected all my fields. So now let me select this. Now go to the insert option and choose this option called and choose the existing worksheet. Now select your location. So now click OK. So now we have this option. So from this, you drag the change detection analysis to row section, and similarly the area change to our values, sum of values. So now let me select this. And let me add here. So now let me name as change detection analysis and area change. So I've changed as change detection analysis from 2001 to 2021 and area change in square kilometers. So barren to vegetation was around 176 square kilometers and barren to dense vegetation 341 square kilometers. So now let me plot this. Let me select. So go to the option called insert and go to this option called insert column or bar chart. Now click this 2D bar. So now let us view this. Zoom it. So one of this axis represents area change in square kilometers, and this axis represents the change detection analysis from 2001 to 2021. So 2001 to 2021. Now let me label. Go to this option. So data label. So now you can clearly able to view. So let me show you that the highest level of land use land cover change detection. Now let me zoom this. So now you can able to see this. The highest level of change was observed to be from 2001 to 2021 was around 817 square kilometers of area from build up to build up. And similarly, the vegetation, the fallow to fallow has increased from 351 square kilometers. And also the vegetation to vegetation has increased around 518 square kilometers from 2001 to 2021. So water body to water body has increased from 5 to 8 square kilometers, and this section represents the 2001 and this section represents the 2021 for all this. So water body to dense vegetation was around 0.01 square kilometers and vegetation to dense vegetation was around 454 square kilometers from 2001 to 2021. So now let me get back to ArcGIS. So now let me close this, clear the selection. So now let me name this intersect vector as change detection analysis from 2001 to 2021. So I have named as change detection from 2001 to 2021. Right click, go to the properties, go to the category section. Now choose your change detection. Now let me add all values. Now click OK. So this particular section indicates the change detection from barren to vegetation or build up to a barren, dense vegetation, dense vegetation to build up. So now let me choose a color for it. For vegetation, let us select as green, and for barren, let me select So now let me select for vegetation. I will give it a color light green color. For barren, I will give it as a yellow color, build up red color, dense vegetation as deep dark green color, and fallow as an orange color, floodplain as a brown color, and water body as blue color. So before that, now let me convert this vector. This is the vector data. So let us convert to a raster data. So to convert to a raster data, go to the option called Arc Toolbox. So from conversion tools, select two rasters. To raster, select from polygon to raster. So choose your input field as change detection 2001 to 2021. An FID value as the change detection. Now choose your output location and make sure that you give the cell size as 30 meters. Now let me choose my output location. So I've chosen the output location and enter the name as intersect to raster. So we are converting our vector to a raster. So now click OK. So now we have our intersected raster. That is our change detection from 2001 to 2021. Let me rename it. So I have named as change detection from 2001 to 2021. So now let me right click, go to the properties. Now go to the symbology section. Now choose this as change. So let me choose this change. Now click OK. So now we have this layer, change detection from 2001 to 2021 as selected, dense vegetation as green, vegetation as light green, water body as blue, and build up as red, and barren orange as orange, barren as yellow, and fallow as orange, and floodplain as brown. Similarly, from dense vegetation to floodplain, dense vegetation to floodplain. So for build up, I have given specifically red color to indicate the change. Now let me minimize it. So in this layer, this is also change detection in vector. Let me rename and let me name this as change detection as raster. So you can view the change detection in vector open attributes. So you can see the all change detection and amount of change that is observed from 2001 to 2021. Let me close this. So let me show you. This is Landsat 8 of 2021 image. So we have our change detection in raster and vector file format. Let me close this. So this is Landsat 8 image of 2021. So let us view the change detection. Let me turn this off. So in 2001 we have very low dense vegetation and settlement rate this was settlement rate. Let's compare with 2008. So in 2021 Landsat 8 image 2021 Landsat 8 image of 2021, we have our dense vegetation has increased significantly, and also the settlements and also the water bodies has been increased. Let me show you that. So in 2001 there is a very low dense vegetation and water bodies were very lesser in amount. Density of water bodies were less, and also the settlements. But in 2021 the dense vegetation has grown, and also the settlements, and also the water body density has increased. And also its change detection is also shown in this particular file. That is we have shown the amount of change from 2001 to 2021. So we also shown you the graphically what was an amount of change that was observed from 2001 to 2021 in area change in square kilometers. So in this video I have shown you how to perform land use land cover change detection analysis using a Landsat 8 image and Landsat 4.5 thematic map. So Landsat 8 image of 2021 and Landsat 4.5 thematic mapper of 2001 in ArcGIS, and shown you the amount of change graphically as well as using our maps. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe to our channel and give us a like.